welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about sight reading. What is sight reading and why is it important? Sight reading is the ability to play a piece of music for the first time, having never seen it before. And why is that important? Because it is going to greatly increase your ability to read music, and it is going to prepare you in your music adventure in future if you decide to get serious about it, if you want to be like an accompanist or whatever. Okay, so I am a huge believer in sight reading, and I try really hard to push this with my students because I know that it definitely increases their ability to read music. The students who make the effort to actually sight read, I just encourage them to pick up anything they can find and just play it, even if it's too hard for them, even if it's something that they're not quite ready for. It doesn't matter. Try to play it anyway. And that's what I always tell my students. When I was younger, that's what I did. We had all sorts of music at my house growing up, and I would play anything and everything I can get my hands on. And I really believed that is what helped me with my sight reading. And because I did a lot of sight reading growing up and still try to do a lot of sight reading, I believe that is what has helped me to become the pianist that I am today, and why I have become a pretty good accompanist, and I have learned the hymns, and I do pretty well with the hymns at church and that sort of thing. So this is going to help in your ability to be able to accompany or whatever. And so what are some ways that we can sight read? Well, when I tell my students to try to sight read, I encourage them to, like I said, just play anything they can find. Something that can be helpful is to learn how to not look at your hands as much as possible. And that's something I try to encourage my students to do. Try to look at the music instead of at your hands. And the more you do that, you can, there's exercises you can do to help train your hands to learn by feel, but you kind of use your peripheral vision. But the more you can look at the music instead of your hands, the more you can kind of look ahead, but it helps you also just stay focused on the music so that you don't lose your places easily. And just being able to look ahead just helps you be able to play a little bit better. And another trick that I also try to encourage, like I mentioned in one of my last videos, is learning to think in intervals rather than the notes. This also helps your sight reading ability. You see how far the notes are going as opposed to having to think about every single individual note. And that just visually, that just kind of helps your brain look ahead, think ahead, and just decide what the notes are doing, and that helps you decide what you need to do. But as with anything, it just comes down to practice. You've always got to practice. That's the best way that you're going to improve in sight reading or anything. So just to recap, sight reading is a very valuable skill to have if you're trying to become serious at the piano, because it increases your ability to read notes faster, read music faster, and also it helps you in your ability, in your journey, if you're wanting to become like an accompanist, or if you want to audition to get into a music school or whatever. So join me next time and we will talk about music notes or music terms and symbols, and I will see you next time. Be excellent to each other.